start off your regional news this evening in Jamaica. A deportee who resides in Woodland District in the parish of Hanover is among 5 persons taken into custody in connection with the murder of 11-year-old Tricia Morris, whose body was discovered on Tuesday. The Gleaner was informed that the deportee, who knows Tricia well, was picked up by the police Tuesday afternoon. The police said 3 other men were taken into custody following an operation in the neighboring community of Haddington, while the 5th man, who was not in the community when the police visited, later turned himself in at the Sandy Bay station. Reports are that Tricia, a student of Watford Hill Primary School, which is also in Woodland District, went missing on Saturday night about 8 p.m. while attending church. On Tuesday, Tricia's adopted mother, Doris Lysette Earl, told the Gleaner that Tricia had left home for the Woodland Seventh-day Adventist Church close by. Tricia left the church to accompany another female home. While on her way back, she disappeared. A missing persons report was filed at the police station and several searches carried out for her. During the early hours of Tuesday morning, a resident in the community stumbled upon the missing child's body, which had been dumped in a cluster of bushes in a section of the community known as Pond. The body had multiple wounds. Investigators believe she may have been raped before being killed. Over to Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad Guardian reported that boat lands of Venezuelans are still continuing to secretly enter Trinidad through Iquitos, even though National Security Minister Stuart Young announced that all borders are now in lockdown. Guardian media visited the coastal villages of Coromandel, Fullerton, Iquitos, and Bonassi yesterday to see whether there was any physical proof of additional security. No additional police, soldiers, or Coast Guard were seen. However, residents said the number of illegal Venezuelans had increased since violent street protests erupted in Venezuela following the attempt by opposition leader Juan Guaido to replace President Nicolas Maduro. Shortly before TNT Guardian team arrived at Iquitos Beach at noon, residents said a boat with 5 Venezuelans pulled up and the occupants ran out and entered a forested area to hide. A source who requested anonymity said more than 50 Venezuelans were seen entering Iquitos during Monday night and about a dozen ventured in during the day. Some fishermen who were trying to hoist a boat off the sand and who the source claimed had orchestrated the illegal trip denied seeing any Venezuelans on the beach. They did not want photos taken. Several fishermen said once the minister announced a lockdown, there has been no additional security. Adrian Massey, who was kidnapped by Venezuelans 2 years ago while fishing in the local waters, said in Venezuela he was concerned about developments. It is a cause for concern because there is war in Venezuela. It will mean a lot of Venezuelans coming here, he said. He said while locals could not fish in territorial waters, the Venezuelans are coming in with little or no restrictions. While he expressed sympathy for the plight of the Venezuelans, Massey said one could not be certain whether foreigners were criminals. President of the Iquitos United Fishermen Association, Gary Edwards, said, "There is no lockdown here. Who cares what is happening in Iquitos? Do you think people don't know what is happening? You know, and this is why we are here." Still in Trinidad, former Attorney General Anand Ramlogan was arrested at the Piarco airport early yesterday, and Gerald Ramdeen, a UNC colleague, was taken in custody by anti-corruption police who are investigating allegations of kickbacks and money laundering linked to high legal fees paid during the Attorney General's tenure. Ramlogan was detained at the Piarco International Airport around 4:15 a.m., shortly before he was expected to board a flight to the British Virgin Islands, where he was scheduled to appear in court. Former UNC Senator Gerald Ramdeen turned himself into officers attached to the Anti-Corruption Investigation Bureau in Port of Spain. For the last few years, investigators have been looking into hefty sums of money paid out by the AG's office to a favored few, according to senior government minister Stuart Young. Under Ramlagan's tenure, more than $1 billion was paid to a handful of people in the legal profession. That figure ballooned from about $40 million during the previous administration. Both Ramlagan and Ramdeen have previously denied any wrongdoing. Ramlagan had sued then-opposition leader Keith Rowley in 2012 after he questioned him about massive payments by the Attorney General's office. Ramlagan later dropped the lawsuit. The arrests of Ramlagan and Ramdeen are the first action into 7 active investigations involving legal fees approved by Ramlagan. Ramdeen, a former UNC senator, received a substantial portion of those fees. Back to you, Handel.